right. Well, hello, friends. Live with Lynette. Welcome back into my kitchen. Please excuse my lost voice. I have no idea where it went. It is completely gone and has been gone for like 4 days. So, welcome back into my kitchen. I want to show you guys baking powder and baking soda, which you guys all probably have in your kitchen. I want to talk a little bit about who they are, if they're the same, can you substitute them, and then are they any good? Okay, so back into my kitchen. Let's get started. Okay. So I've got baking powder. I keep it in its original container. And then baking soda, I put in one of these OXO things. Okay, I have done this ever since I've been on my own. Okay, 10 plus years. I've stored it in this exact same one. How crazy is that? So anyways, I've got baking soda over here and I've got baking powder over here. Today I want to talk about what they are, if they're the same, can you substitute them, and are they any good? Okay, so baking powder, right here, my friends, already contains an acid in its chemical ingredient, okay? So this one says cornstarch, sodium bicarbonate, sodium aluminum sulfate, and monocalcium phosphate, okay? So in your baking powder, it already contains the acidic properties which you just mix with water, okay? So things like biscuits, pancakes, cornbread, that kind of thing, okay? So it already contains the acid in here, and you use it in recipes that do not contain acids, okay? Now, baking soda is just a single ingredient, baking soda, okay? And it is the ingredient that's needed to create that rising action, okay? And you're going to mix it with an acid, okay? So you're going to mix it with things like lemon juice, recipes that have like lemon juice, vinegar, buttermilk, that kind of thing, okay? So baking soda, you need the acidic ingredient to create the rising action in your recipe. Baking powder, you do not. The baking powder already has the acidic chemical properties, okay? So you can just use it to add water. Ingredients that you just add water to is when you'll be using your baking powder, okay? Now, can you substitute them? Who knows if you can substitute them and which way you can substitute them? Drop it in the comments. I want to know if you know the proper ways to substitute baking powder and soda. Do you substitute soda for powder or powder for soda? I want to know. Drop it in the comments. Okay, I'm going to give you the answer anyways. Can you substitute baking soda for powder? Soda for powder? Absolutely not. No way. No, thank you. Okay. So if your recipe calls for baking soda and you don't have any on hand, you can try to make it your own. If you have like cream of tartar and some other ingredients at home, you can try to make it your own, or you can just whip up some egg whites until it gets that really whipped up with the air bubbles in it consistency, and you can just fold your egg whites into your batter or whatever it is that you're using, or you can just remove all liquids in your ingredients and use a club soda. That will act very similarly to your baking soda, okay? Maybe if you're going to like a big fancy party or you're having a lot of people over and you run out of these, maybe don't try doing these random substitutions beforehand. But if you're just doing like a cookie baking day or something for your family, that's how you can try to substitute for soda. Now, can you substitute powder for soda? Yes, you absolutely can. Okay, just use 3 times the amount. So if your recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of baking soda, just use 3 teaspoons of baking powder, okay? So, can you substitute soda for powder? Absolutely not. But can you substitute powder for soda? Yes, you very much can. Okay. Let's see if my voice comes back. Okay, so that's a little bit about who baking powder and who baking soda are. Can you substitute them? And now I want to show you guys how you can test to make sure that they are still good. I was just doing this, which is why I'm bringing you guys into my kitchen, because I'm just making sure that my ingredients are still good and still active for our cookie baking day this weekend. Okay, so let me bring you guys down here just real quick. Okay. Hi. Okay, make sure you guys can see these. So I have 2 of our 1 cup prep bowls here. And I've got baking soda on this side and baking powder on this side. Our baking powder so my head's not completely cut off. Can you guys see that any better? I feel like there's a weird glare. Our baking powder, we're just gonna mix with some really hot boiling water. I've got about a 1/4 cup here in my Easy Read measuring cup. And our baking soda, we're just gonna mix with white vinegar. And yes, we use a ton of white vinegar. That's why we have a jug of it. Okay, so let's get started. I'm gonna do, and you don't have to measure this, okay? I just grabbed my teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. All right, we're gonna see if my ingredients are still good or if I need to buy some more. So with our baking powder, all we're gonna do is add a little bit of water, and if it is still good, it should really start to bubble up, okay, and have a really active cup here, okay? Yes. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's some like bubbling, there's a lot of fizzing, and there was a little bit of, not steam, coming out of my cup. So it's still bubbling, it's still active, it's all doing its like volcanic thing. So my baking powder is still good. Yay! Good. Okay, baking soda, just a little bit here, and just, you know, add in some vinegar. Or lemon juice if you don't have vinegar on hand. Again, this should do the same thing. It should really become super active. Oh yeah. Can you guys see that? The little properties bouncing on top of it. Yes. All right, so my baking soda is still good. Yes. I know they're not very expensive, but if your ingredients are not still good, if they're not still active, then your baked goods are not going to rise. And you might actually, if you use too much baking soda or baking powder, you might make your baked goods taste different, okay? So that's like cornbread, biscuits, anything that's kind of a baked good that you put powder or soda into could become too bitter. It could become way too hard if your breads are not rising. Maybe you have too much. So don't think that just because you add more, they're going to get bigger. That is not true, okay? So don't be fooled by getting these really big, overgrown muffins for adding too much of one of your agents. It's not going to happen, okay? You'll make it maybe too bitter, too hard. You'll just change the property of it. So anyways, I hope this was helpful for you. If you've already done some baking, some holiday baking, I'd love to know what cookies we should be doing this season. So drop those in the comments as well. Hopefully this was helpful, and share with a friend if you know they love baking as well. All right, friends, we love you, and we will see you again later. Bye.